Go with your passion. It's where you're comfortable at, but you enjoy it because networking is so awkward. Just really finding what is your passion. Is that a running club? Go run and then just talk to people. And that's what I've done with my associate. We find her passions and then that's how you integrate them and get the clientele that you ideally want.
Hey, what's up, Smart Chiropractors? Welcome to Interviews by the Smart Chiropractor. I'm Dr. Jeff Langmaid here with my co-host, Dr. Jason Deitch. Today we have the opportunity to sit down and chat with Dr. Audra Lance in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee, founder of Spine and Sport Rehabilitation Institute. Audra, thanks for coming on and chatting with us today.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
It is our pleasure, and I want to give full disclosure to everybody listening out there. You gracious enough, this is second go around. I had technical issues the first time. You've made time in your schedule to come back on, so I want to give public acknowledgement to thanking you for giving us some grace as we went through that. And I wanted to have you back because I loved the conversation we did have, and I got a feeling this one's going to be even better. So, as a founder of a cash-based sports-focused practice. This sounds like the dream to a lot of young docs out there listening that are interested in sports chiropractic, that are also interested in running a cash-based practice. Those two things can sometimes seem challenging, going the way of not taking insurance. When you decided to build a cash-based practice, how did you go about that decision-making? And what was maybe a lesson or two you've learned along the way, staying outside of the insurance game?
So I had really great mentors in school, still talk to them. And it's awesome to have people to bounce ideas off and questions and people who've done it before. So talking with them, I just kind of heard the idea of the cash, no insurance. And some people that have done it, some people that did it switched back to insurance, some people that were pure insurance, got all the points of views, and then kind of researched it on my own and how I wanted to set up a practice and decided, hey, I'm already used to living on ramen noodles and water. Let's try it. And I can always switch back to take insurance. But I was aware from talking to people who have done it before me, it takes a little longer to grow. So if you can have that patience, go for it. So I was babysitting on the side just to have cash. Starting a business, you're not going to make $100,000 your first year. My first year, I actually made $17,000. So it's a hustle. Mm-hmm. But it was worth it, and it really has paid off and made things easier. We do provide super bills, so we know, a little bit about insurance if people want to turn that into their HSA account or something. But honestly, I don't have a whole lot to contribute about insurance because that's not something we've done.
Hey, Doc, the money is in your list. If you're not utilizing weekly email newsletters to drive reactivations into your practice, you're missing out on a huge opportunity. To schedule a demo and see how we help hundreds of docs do this each and every week, go to thesmartchiropractor.com today. Again, that is thesmartchiropractor.com. Schedule a demo with our team. But right now, we'll get back into this awesome interview on Interviews by the Smart Chiropractor.
Well, let's dig a little deeper in there. Typically, people take different routes for different reasons. It's not just that you don't want, people to be able to reimburse you, but it's a different style of practice to have to pander to the insurance companies than it is to not have to. I notice on your website, I'm on spinesportrehabilitation.com for our viewers. You refer to it as concierge chiropractic care, and I'm guessing it is the focus on service and connection that is what gives you the ability to create value for people to actually want to pay you and want to work with you, as opposed to lowering the bar so much that it's just cheap enough that they can say, why not? Why concierge chiropractic? What does that mean to you? What should people learn from that?
Yeah. So we spend a lot of time with our patients and you're with the doctor the entire time. So your first visit is an hour, but that includes exam plus history plus treatment. So you're getting all that in your first visit. And then follow-ups are usually 30 minutes. Some of the pro athletes do an hour because they have multiple things going on or performance care, enhancement, whatever. But yeah, I just have always loved talking to people and knowing their stories, although I didn't want to be a therapist. So I just found that really valuable and something that's missing in a lot of our medical world. People are being rushed in, rushed out, and then you miss something. But when you're with them and can spend that time, you can get to the root cause and the bottom of it. And if they're not supposed to be in my office, I realize that pretty quickly and can refer out. Or if they're supposed to be there, we can make a good game plan moving forward on how we're going to address their issue. and really make that connection. And usually they get better faster.
I think it's a fantastic way to go about practice. It also just gives you so much more latitude in how you can apply your craft. And as we've gone through and spoken with many high-level sports docs, one of the things that was, I say, surprising to us early on, but now is not, and probably pretty obvious, is really a focus on performance as opposed to pain. And with you taking care of so many high-level athletes across pretty much all the major sports spectrum, I'd be curious on your insight in this. Do you find that more high-level athletes come to you for rehab? Do they come to you for performance? Is it a mix of both? What are you seeing?
A mix of both now. Initially, they first came to me because they are injured and they need to get back and trying to get back quick and doing whatever they can and wanting to figure out how. And then once they're there and seeing the kind of treatment that we do, then they start, oh, okay, like I feel better not only with my injury, but with this. Why? What are you doing? Like, how can I do more of this? Can you help me with this? So then it just usually evolves into that relationship. Yeah, but usually it starts with an injury is how they come in.
And so I guess my question is, I'm again on your website, you've got MLB, you've got, professional players, NHL, NFL. How did that happen? Was that intentional that you wanted to work with professional athletes? Did it just sort of happen by accident? What would you tell chiropractors who also want to get into the major leagues of sorts and work with professional athletes?
Yeah, it was always a dream of mine. From school, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do that." Uh, and a lot of people are like, "Yeah, right. You're moving to a city you don't know. You're gonna start cash. There's no way." So I've always been like, "Okay, well, watch me." So yes, of course, I wanted to reach that goal. I didn't expect the amount, which is phenomenal, which has become word of mouth. Initially, the first athlete got in there just looking up, Googling who was certified in certain things. Each athletes have, different. So ART is a very big certification in the sports world that a lot of the athletes know and look for, or their trainers. So that is essentially how the first athlete got through my door. And then from there, it's just been a lot of word of mouth.
Oh, that is the best way. That tells that you have a great experience, and that
Mhm.
is what is key. Not only getting the results, but having an experience is what delivers referrals. So well
Mhm.
done on that. I notice you have an associate with you, another female doctor, and we're talking about this pre-roll. And I'm not exactly sure which direction I want to go with it, but I would love to have your thoughts as somebody who is working in professional sports in a very male-dominated industry, who's somebody who went to a new town, who has a cash practice, and who's a female business owner in the community. And you've made a name for yourself beyond that community, as the case of, us, hearing your name and wanting to have you on the podcast. For the young female docs out there, what would be perhaps a tip or a bit of advice you would give them if they'd love to get into the sports chiropractic realm, number one, or maybe if they're a little bit hesitant because of what seems just to be an overwhelming amount of stuff when you're opening your practice? How would you guide and direct a young female doctor?
Well, first, I think get really good mentors. That's for anyone. And have some of them be female, have some of them be male. Then you get both perspectives. Because I think as doctors, and I do this too, when I got out, I was trying to emulate so many of my mentors, trying to be them and just realizing, oh, okay, yes, take the best from them, but make it you too. Because you need to feel authentic to the patient. If you're feeling fake, they can read right through that. And you have your own course of learning. And then go with your passions. Like I was a dancer growing up and college. So I immediately, that's what I know how to talk about. I know those injuries. So I was going to dance studios and, hey, this is how I can help you. So go with where you're comfortable at, but you enjoy it, because networking is so awkward to begin with. And talking about yourself and what you do, that's also very hard. And it takes a lot of practice to be authentic. And, you're technically selling yourself, but you're not trying to be a sleazy salesman. So just really finding, what is your passion? Is that a running club? Go run and then just talk to people, and that's what I've done with my associate. We find her passions, and then that's how you integrate them and get the clientele that you ideally want.
Hey, it's Dr. Jason. I just want to take a brief moment and invite you to schedule a demo with our team to learn more about our patient pilot automated email campaigns. They are the smartest way to reactivate the people you've seen over the years in the past. Check it out, schedule a demo. We look forward to helping you help more people, piloting your patients back into your practice. Now back to our show. That way it's sustainable and you're enjoying what you're doing at the same time. It's very
Hmm.
smart and a good idea. I'd like to pivot back to your cash-based practice and the fact that you're spending, 60 minutes, 30 minutes. Um, you'd mentioned people are coming in for a mixture of sometimes it's rehab for an injury, sometimes it's performance-based. How do you present your care plan packages? And I don't mean in terms of, well, I guess in terms of numbers, but also in terms of payment. Do they pay on a per visit basis? Do they buy packages? Do you have any kinds of sort of memberships as a concierge? Is there a annual membership fee or monthly
Hmm.
membership fee? Or how do you, how is your business model set up?
Personally, I don't have a membership stuff. It's by the visit. Not that I'm not opposed to that. It's just how I started and haven't changed it. But yeah, people come in and it's just a flat fee and that's changed over the years. And then 30 minutes they pay again. And we talk about from the beginning, hey, ideally, this is what we've seen. This is what to expect. But if you do your stuff, you're going to be able to get out of here faster if pain's your only goal. If you don't, you're going to have to pay us to do it for you, which we're happy to do. And then from there, okay, your pain's gone, but here's still functionally where we need to address and get you going. Is that something you're on board with, or you run the risk of this happening again in 6 months or whatever? And you have to meet the patient where they're at. Not everyone wants to go buy into the functional performance. People are like, "No, I'm good. Just get me out of pain. I got it." So it's really listening to what the patient wants. But yeah, numbers wise, it just depends. So we started out at 200 and then 100, and now it's like grown from there. But you have to, take in what you're paying for rent. What's the overhead? What you kind of want to take home? What's your value? What is everyone else charging in the area? And then put it all together from there. It's kind of a hard equation that if you're in a different city, you mean, like I have a friend in Cleveland, she's like, I couldn't charge what you charge. So it just depends where you're at too. And you have to kind of get a feel for that. And people can pay with their HSA cards, FSA cards. And then, like I said earlier, we provide super bills if they pay with their credit card that they can put towards their deductible. Some people get reimbursed. That's all just dependent on the insurance plan.
That makes sense. With the clinical aspects of taking care of a lot of athletes in practice, you have an array of tools and skill sets, postgraduate education. What do you find yourself leaning into and utilizing the most often? I'm thinking about a young doc out there who maybe, they're looking at a variety of different courses. They're unsure of really where to leverage their time in the best way possible. What are some of the techniques that you find yourself really leaning into and relying on day in and day out as you take care of these athletes?
Well, obviously, doing this for a while now, like it's kind of a fun puzzle for me to put together all the different things and figuring out what works. But if you're a young doc in school, and you want to be involved in the sports, I said earlier, ART, not only because it is good, it's good for the anatomy, it's a good technique, but it's also very well known and to market yourself. And you get to do it for free by being on their website. And we still get a lot of referrals from that. So that essentially is the biggest no brainer, even though they are expensive, but worth it. From there, I would say a DNS exercise course, or depending on your state, dry needling. And then there, you can never go wrong with a McKenzie course. You can fix so many people so fast with McKenzie and really get them going. And so I guess if I had to pick, it would be ART and McKenzie.
I'm curious, both what do you love most about practice and what do you see in the years to come? You brought an associate in. Do you want more associates? Do you want multiple practices? Do you love to do the physical work? Are you looking to figure out a way to sort of balance that more? What do you love most about what you're doing, and how do you plan on doing more of that in the future?
Well, I'm very grateful. I love, 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 love my job. Like I was driving around yesterday and like going through who I was seeing. I was like, Is this a dream? It's so wonderful. And it's such a high to be able to have such an impact on so many lives. And you don't even realize how much in 30 minutes you can inspire someone or make an impact. And, you know, you hear about it sometimes, but other times you don't. But it's our jobs. We do so much for people that is unspoken. Now, working 14 hours a day on male athletes, it does get physically hard. Um, but it's such a high that I know you guys in practice too that you can't describe. But whether they're athletes or not, it's still amazing. So don't really ever want to get away from patient care at this moment in time. That can change next year. Uh, But yeah, I think work-life balance, we're constantly trying to work on in our office. I know it's important. My associate does a way better job at it than I do. So just really trying to push each other to grow, whether that's personally or through our job. And yeah, I mean, I'd like spine and sport to grow if it's the right fit with people on the team to have more to be able to help more people. I mean, that's the goal, is to provide good care to as many people as we can. But I mean, there's all these things out there. Who knows what will end up happening? It's hard to say.
That is true. For docs listening and watching that are interested in either connecting with you or learning more, we'll be sure to drop the links down below as well. But where can they go to either connect with you, learn more, or watch what you're up to as you continue to build and grow? You're in a new location, just expanded, which is awesome. And where can docs learn more?
They can either follow me personally on Instagram, Dr. Audra Lance, and the business Spine Sport Nash. A lot of stuff shared. You can message us on there. You can go to the website and just use that link to email us. Those are probably the easiest ways, but we'd love to hear from you.
Awesome. Audra, thank you so much for coming on and chatting for a second time. And I
Yes.
think we did better than our first conversation. So thank you
I
so much
love
for
it.
coming on, being open, sharing, and inspiring the young docs out there that you can get out there, build a fantastic, clinically sound, athletic, cash-based practice. It's an awesome model to follow. You've done a great job blazing that trail. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing that with us today.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for watching this video on the Smart Chiropractor. To not miss a single thing that's clinically oriented, marketing oriented, or more, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel today.